Coming out of college, I was ready to like take on the world. What I liked about music was that like if you did it well, it would make you a somebody. I didn't just walk into San Francisco and start playing big shows. I would pretty much perform anywhere I could until I got that opportunity to headline my own show at one of the bigger venues. And then as a songwriter, I was introduced into some really successful production teams. Now I was surrounded by award-winning musicians, award-winning producers, people that had plaques on their walls. It wasn't this dream anymore, it was more of the beginnings of defining the reality of it. Where this is going, but I wanna go. There were like two separate things going on. One was when I was not around any of my friends anymore, when my whole environment started to shift, I really started asking the question, what do I value? So I started really searching out some of the questions that I had. I started growing in my own relationship. Nobody there telling me like, you need to read the Bible. It was more this like, what is it for me? And then the other lane was this music. So I came to this point where it was like, for the next phase or for the next step of it, it was put every single thing you have in front of God. So I did like a mental accounting. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. And then and music came up. And I was like, but just don't touch that. It finally came to this head. I had this show the next day and I couldn't sleep that night. It almost felt like peace had been removed. I felt like I could see 10 years down the line. And I asked myself, like, how did I get here? That night I knew that there was something else. Like there was an invitation to something completely different. I said, you know, I'm gonna do the show the next day, then I quit. So I picked up the phone, called them, told them I was going a different direction, gave back all the funding. And it was like the most peace I've experienced was in that moment. Canceling it, giving it back, and just taking one of those deep breaths and like, but I still didn't have a plan B. The funny thing is nursing was this thing that kind of resonated. When I studied business, people are like, hey, nursing is a great profession. And I laughed at people. I was like, you would never catch me doing, like, you're crazy. Like, what is wrong with you? How dare you even? And then I'm sitting in college again, taking prerequisite science classes. And I literally would just kind of scratch my head, look around, and I'd be like, what is happening? But I knew I was supposed to be there. Especially looking back on it, it's easier to see. It was a development ground. Like, it was like a trade of like, you being served to like, you learn how to serve. So while I was in school, this new process, learning, going to school, studying, the songwriter piece to me wasn't dead. I started writing songs again, but I was literally just writing songs because songs were coming out. So I think it was this pure environment that allowed me to write music that was exactly connected to what I wanted to do, and I didn't care if anyone heard it. And then I kept writing music, and one of my friends heard it, and he's like, hey, you know, I think your new music is almost better than your old stuff. So he sets up a meeting. I end up meeting with this guy, sharing some of the new songs, and he's like, I love it. And he signs off the Oakland Symphony to accompany me for a full concert. I remember sitting there and just saying, you know what's crazy? I've been trying to work with you for a few years, and I quit music, and now I'm sitting here talking to you. I remember walking through that empty venue right before everything started and hearing that still small voice say, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what I have planned. After that symphony concert, we actually went and did a brief tour in Brazil. And so I saw all of this momentum coming back to music, and then it was that still same thing that was like, go work. And it was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you're double killing the dream. So I work at a level 1 trauma center, so you literally get everything that's too sick for every other hospital around. All of the car accidents, all of the violent crimes, and all of the heart attacks, all of the strokes. In ER trauma, we're there for the worst moments in people's lives. When I pick up a guitar, my head is filled with these stories. Conversations I've had with people on their deathbeds. Like, I've asked people, you know, are you at peace? And just being able to hash out life in between this seemingly chaotic environment, having my value connected to music skewed some of the things I like would use it for. I think the music has really changed in that I'm not trying to prove anything anymore. I think I'm content, and at the same time I'm following like a purpose for it. And my thought is, I can't believe you had this in mind when I was sitting at my desk and hearing that still small voice of God, like, I have something else for you. Like the dream part. It's almost like I don't need to have one. I've seen all of these things happen in the absence of my dream. So what would be the point? It's almost like my dream would be a limiting factor. Who are you?